Hi, friends. Happy Wednesday. I hope you're having a great day. I'm over here enjoying my off day because it is snowing like crazy outside, and it's honestly kind of nice. I feel like I kind of needed that forced rest a little bit. But yeah, we're doing something a little bit different today because it's snowing. Jill and I can't drive to meet with each other to record what we had planned on filming for you guys today, but we're gonna pivot and I'm gonna give y'all a fun little solo episode today. Something different, but it'll be fun. I feel like we have lots of good things to talk about. It's gonna be great, so let's do it. Thank you all for being here. So excited to spend our Wednesdays together. It's gonna be awesome. If you are listening to this podcast, I feel like it's safe to assume that you are the kind of person who knows that there's more to life and that the standard that is kind of like expected of everyone doesn't feel settling to you, and that you feel like you're made for something bigger, and that like good enough just isn't actually good enough for you. We've talked about all these sorts of things with standards and big goals and knowing that there's more out of life in previous episodes. And I feel like if you stuck around, um, it's safe to assume that you know that you were made for more. So, I kind of want to talk about that today, and I want to give y'all some encouragement to reaffirm that feeling. That feeling right there, I know it doesn't necessarily feel super crazy and huge, but that feeling is the start of you stepping into your full potential, and it's so important for you to lean into that feeling. I feel like the vibes of this episode today aren't even going to be that aggressive. I just kind of really want to hammer down on that feeling of more that I know that a lot of you have. I know that because I've gotten a lot of feedback from you guys since Jill and I have started this episode or this podcast, that you guys do know that there's more for you out there. You have that feeling that there's something bigger for you. You just don't know what more is. So you have this feeling and the fire and the passion. You just don't know what exactly it looks like and what your big goals should be and what action steps you're supposed to take to get there. And it's frustrating. Like, I understand that feeling full well, to know that you're made for something bigger, but you don't know what that bigger thing is, and you don't really know how to get there, and you don't even know how to plan for this. And so you're just spiraling because you feel like stuck and frustrated, and you know there's more, you just don't know what to do. And it's like it kind of discouraging actually, and no one around you seems to understand what you're talking about, and you feel like you're kind of going crazy. I fully understand that feeling more than any of you know, and I feel like it would be kind of helpful for me to share a little bit about my story with you all, because that same frustration that I just talked about is literally exactly how I started doing everything that I do right now. And I feel like just kind of talking about that and like my experience with that and what that has looked like for me and what I did with it kind of gives some encouragement to you guys. And I hope that it helps you guys feel just a little bit less stuck in that pursuit of finding more. Um, the feeling of being stuck is one of the worst feelings in the whole entire world. And so I just kind of hope that this episode today serves as some encouragement for you to get unstuck. Of course, like I said, this is going to be a little bit less aggressive than normal, but I'm still gonna call you out. You gotta do the work. It's gonna be great. Um, so a little bit of background about me. I, like many of you guys, based on the feedback that I've gotten from y'all, I have always known that I'm made for more. I've always, like, if you've known me, you know this for, like, you've known this. If you've known me for a long time, you know this. I have always felt like I have this fire and passion for more, like, I don't even know how else to say it, just like bigger and better than the standard and the expectation, just more, like I'm hungry for more. I don't even know how else to say it, other than just more. The concept of good enough has never been good enough for me. I am what you would call an overachiever. I like to go above and beyond. I'm always craving more. I've been like that for as long as I can remember, and I don't really have a crazy life-changing story or event about like a big mindset shift or like something that changed everything for me. It's just like kind of always been the way that I am. Like I don't have any super crazy out of the like ordinary experiences. I'm a normal girl who's just always felt like there's something else out there for me. I started feeling that way at a really young age, honestly, like younger than I even feel like I actually remember. I've like always kind of known that never relate to the people around me. Growing up, I never felt like I related to the people around me, but it was tricky because I didn't feel like I had another choice. Like it wasn't there wasn't anything else. This is all that there is. This is all that I know. This is the standard. Like because it's the standard that everyone has. It's just the standard. That's what makes it a standard. That's just the way that things are. So like as a little middle schooler at my teeny tiny private Christian middle school, I'm just running around. Like I know that this is not settling to me, but I don't even know what else. Like there's no other option because this is all I know. This is just the way that life looks. It's one of those things like, when you feel like there's more to something, but you don't really know what it is, and no one around you seems to understand what you're talking about, and it's frustrating because you feel like you're going crazy, and the people you're talking to are acting like you're crazy, but like you just want to figure out what it is so that you can pursue it, but you can't, so it's just making you crazy. So you know what I'm saying? Do you kind of like get what I'm getting at? That was like always exactly how I felt, but because no one understood what I was talking about and because nobody seemed to like relate to me and have that same kind of, I don't know, have those same thoughts and feelings that I had, I just kind of accepted that like this is just the way that it is, and it was unsettling to me, but I accepted it and I lived with it for a long time up until I want to say like my junior year maybe of high school. It's when COVID hit, or I guess COVID hit the end of my sophomore year, but during junior year is when I would say that big shift happened. And it was because this was my first experience being around people that actually really pushed me for more. I had some really great mentors that I was working for at this time. And this was my first exposure to anybody who had that same kind of there's more to life than this mentality. And that was the first interaction that I ever had with anybody who helped me like reaffirm the feeling that I had about there being more to life than this. That right there changed everything for me. That relationship, that like affirmation, that encouragement, and that challenge that I got from the people that I was around at this point in time, these like mentors and leaders that I had, like that was the turning point for me. So my biggest hope, like with this podcast, this episode, any episode in general, is that I can be that person for you because I know what it feels like to have this craving for more. You just don't know what it is, and there's no one around you that understands. So you're like, it's a lot easier to have the confidence and the courage to step into that and to chase that feeling of more when there's somebody affirming that feeling that like yes there is more, and you need to go find it, like go embrace that, go chase after that feeling. But again, that's a lot harder to do when you don't have anybody in your life that's challenging you to do that. So that's my biggest hope, that I can be that person for you, because that changed everything for me. um yeah, that person, like they never told me what more was. It's not like I want to make it very clear that it's not like I all of a sudden had these mentors in my life that just spoke over me and they were like, yeah, this is exactly what you're supposed to do. This is exactly what your strengths are. This is exactly what your life should look like. And here's what your big goal should be. Like it was never, ever, ever that clear. They never told me what more was. I still don't feel like I have the full answer to what more is. But the turning point is that they reaffirmed that more was out there, and that's what made me decide that I was going to go figure out what it was. That's what I'm getting at when I say that that's what I want to be for you guys. Like, yes, this is me right now sitting here saying to you that yes, the feeling that there is more out there that you have right now is a real feeling. I'm reaffirming that, and I'm challenging you to go figure out what it is. At that point in my life, whenever I was experiencing this shift, I just kind of I think I had felt the way that I felt about the fact that there is something bigger for me for so long, that the second that I got like reassurance in that, I was like, you know what? Like I'm not waiting for permission anymore. I'm not waiting around. I'm not waiting for someone to tell me to go find it. I got to get up and go find it. Like I don't know what this looks like, but like the best thing that I can do is to make myself ready to be receiving of it, and that starts with like changing myself. So that's when my whole like journey with health, fitness, wellness, all of the things like that, this is kind of when it started, just because I knew that the best thing that I could do for myself and in my pursuit of finding more and like stepping into my potential and like actually understanding what it is that I'm being called to do was to make myself a better version of myself and to get really comfortable in the process of self improvement and growth. And so that's kind of what I did. I knew that like if I wanted to have something bigger, then I had to start with me. It started with me. I had to be someone that was ready for that big thing. We talked all about standards last week and how like you can't level up until you cut out the things that are holding you back. And at this point in my life, I would have been like newly 16 years old at this time. Obviously, I didn't know much about personal improvement and growth and leveling up, but I did know that it was time to let go of some things that weren't helping me in this pursuit of more. And that moment started this like relentless pursuit of me working to like find my fire, find the thing that set my soul on fire, and then fuel that flame and then like run with it. And like I said, that started with my health for me. This is when I started in the gym. I started lifting weights. I was up at 4:30 in the morning to go lift weights before school started as a junior in high school. Like this is what I was up to when I was 16. I really hammered down on that discipline piece just in that one area and learned really quickly that it kind of like bled into everything else. Like you all have heard me say that how you do anything is how you do everything. And I think this is really my first experience learning that. The whole thing became like it started as like I want to make myself better, so I'm going to be like physically healthy. It kind of started there and then eventually transformed into like okay, this is me actively, continuously proving to myself that I can push past my own limits. This right here was the birth of the concept of limitless. We talked about that, I want to say, in our first episode and how it's tattooed on my body. And I love that word so much. And this was that turning point for me when I really started to embrace that concept of the word limitless. I got like really, really, really obsessed with my work and my effort and my habits and how I had kind of like tweaked it and shaped it all to work in my favor and help me push past literally any limit that I had. I felt great. I felt unstoppable. I felt on top of the world. I was so happy and just at peace with myself. I felt like I still didn't know what more was. I didn't have the answer to that yet, but I felt like I was on the right path and I was positioning myself in the right place to be ready for that. I was on my shit and then I moved to college and I totally lost that side of myself. It's not my brightest moment, but I'm gonna get real and honest and raw about it. In high school, I never had to worry about balance and having discipline in terms of saying no because my experience like growing up and especially in high school was like none of y'all relate to me and it's frustrating to me, so I'm going to go do my own thing by myself. It wasn't like I was tempted by other things in high school, so I never had to learn the discipline and the resilience and like practice the self-control to stop myself from temptation because there just wasn't really anything that I had to use that with in high school. College was very different. There's a lot of change. Like my whole environment is different. The people that I'm around is totally different. The place I'm living is different. Like everything is just different. There were new people. There was no structure, and I just didn't have what it took to stay true to myself and to like continue on my pursuit of more. So I totally fell out of it, totally stopped pursuing it. Um, my freshman year of college was probably the most miserable year of my whole entire life. I'm going to be fully transparent about that. I stopped looking for more and I stopped fueling the flame that like lit the passion inside of my soul. And it made me miserable. I felt it. I spent all of my time that year messing around with people that like didn't actually fully understand me or know me and didn't really push me for more, and I myself didn't know how to stand up and like cut the dead weight out and do all the audits that we talk about, and like make sure that the things that I was letting influence me, like the things that I was giving, what, how am I even words, I wasn't being intentional enough about making sure that the things that I let influence me, like making sure that those things were in alignment with the person that I was trying to be. I was just like I was down for whatever. I was hanging out with whatever. I wasn't mindful of who I spent my time with, what I spent my time doing, how all of that impacted me. I felt it. I felt it. It had a bigger impact on me than I ever could have imagined it would have. I have never been so unhappy. I was never like I've never been so unsettled and like purposeless and unmotivated. Like a lot of people that I went to high school with in high school, like growing up, told me in my freshman year of college that like me in high school would have hated me now, or that like I'm not even the same person. Like the me in high school is like doesn't even exist anymore. Like I literally had people telling me that the person that I became, the person I molded myself into growing up, would be disappointed in the version of myself that I was 6 months later. Like that was really hard for me to hear. It's hard. It was just uncomfortable to know that like I totally did that to myself and threw everything that I had worked so hard for away just because I didn't have the resilience and the discipline and the self-control to do what I needed to do to make sure I was still in alignment with my purpose. This is not, I'm not trying to say that like I just didn't have any balance, or that I like it wasn't a balance thing. It was just that I totally lost sight of myself and the goal. I don't say this to like scare anyone away from doing like having fun and like living their life and balancing things, because that wasn't my problem. It wasn't a balance issue. It was just like I totally lost sight of everything. um I say all of that to make you guys aware of what is on the other side of sitting stagnant, and like I want to help you understand what will happen to you if you ignore your potential and just settle for average. Because my problem wasn't that I just wasn't practicing balance, and my problem wasn't that I just like skipped too many gym days. My problem was that I like totally was not rooted in myself and my why and my purpose. And it was an like I went to the totally opposite extreme where I'm just not fueling myself well in any way at all across the board. Um, Again, not a balance thing, but this is like this that is what happens when you sit stagnant. And that's what I'm like kind of trying to convey when I tell that story and get really honest about that, is like I had lived my life in such an insane pursuit of more, and like finding my purpose and making sure that I am, I don't know, like I don't know. I've sat in both positions now. Like I've been on both sides of the playing field, and I can tell you from experience that the side where I did not take action and I sat stagnant and was just okay with being like average and normal and doing what everyone else was doing, like all of that hurt me way 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 more than the other side of the playing field where like I'm taking action literally ever has. Like the inability to stand up and do the hard work and chase the fire and set the boundaries and have the standards was so much more damaging to me. And I feel like a lot of that has to do with the fact that that's because that fire that I keep referring to, like that is who I am. It's my purpose. All of these things that I like was not chasing anymore, like that is just who I am. Like it's my identity. It's the things that light my soul on fire. And the fact that I was choosing to ignore it was way more draining to me than it was fulfilling. I think this is one of the reasons that Jill and I go back to the why. It's so important to have your why and to be grounded in your why, because you're capable of too much to sit there and let inaction have that big of an impact on you. I can tell you from my experience that it is not worth it. I don't want any of you to feel the way that I felt my freshman year of college. Like, find your why, be grounded in it. Don't forget about this feeling of there's more to life than this that you have, because you're going to be miserable if you choose to ignore it. And again, take it from me. I learned that one the hard way. Um, not my proudest moment, but it is what it is. Now the good news with all of that is that it is never too late to get back on track, or like it's never too late to start, and it's never too late to get back on track if you have already fallen off. And it took me a long time to get back on track after I fell off so badly, like a really long time. Like I'm actually kind of embarrassed about how long of time it took for me to get back on track, but it's not impossible. I did it. I'm here. My life has never been better. I've never been in a better place physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all of the things. It's never too late. So I just want to give y'all that extra little bit of encouragement that if you feel like you've fallen off a little bit, or you feel like you have these big goals and you're just not, you kind of lost a little bit of that fire, like reground yourself really quick. It is not too late. It is not too late to pick up where you left off. It's not too late to hit the ground running again. Don't let just a little bit of like, don't let the little things that derail you totally lose sight help don't let the little things that derail you make you totally lose sight of your why and your purpose and why you do this, because again, there's more to this than just doing the hard things to mark off a goal on your bucket list. This is like this, it's a purpose thing. This is like a, there's more to life than average, and the pursuit of finding it gives you purpose. So it's not just about setting big goals because you have to do really hard things that are going to challenge you, because successful people are tough, which, like, there is truth to that statement, but like, take it from a purpose perspective really quickly. Like, what are the things that set your soul on fire? What are the things that make you feel like there's more to life than just average or good enough? Like, find it, identify it. If you've fallen off of it, get back on track, ground yourself in your why. Yeah, the work is worth it. Do not ignore the pieces of you that feel drawn to more. Do not. Not, it's again, it's just not worth it. Yeah, that was kind of that. Now that I'm like tied a bow on the end of that, I feel like it was a little bit all over the place. So I hope that you all understand my heart posture and what I'm saying and what I'm getting at. Please, please, please don't ignore the piece of you that feels drawn to more. It's so much more fulfilling to do the hard things and have those extra high standards and put in a little bit of extra work to mold yourself into the person that you want to be, to become the person that's able to receive the things that you want, to find the things that set your soul on fire, to be in alignment with your purpose, and to find what it is that you're being called to do. Sometimes it's uncomfortable and it takes some challenging self reflection, and it takes some hard seasons of growth, and it takes some lessons that you learn along the way. But at the end of the day, finding your purpose and living in the things that set your soul on fire is so much more rewarding than just sitting there because you don't know where to start. So, that's my story. That's, again, nothing super crazy or out of the ordinary or even inspiring. But it's real. It's my truth. It's my experience with that little tiny feeling for more and what I did with it and what that has looked like in my life. Here we are now. I don't even know how many years after I initially started this journey, and I have the job of my dreams, and I'm podcasting. I literally have a podcast with my very best friend. My life is better than I could have ever imagined that it would be. And all it took was that relentless pursuit of chasing the things that set my soul on fire. So I want to encourage you all today to identify that and don't ignore it and run with it. And I am so excited for all of you in this journey. I know that it's scary, but it's equally as exciting as it is terrifying. Don't ignore it, run with it. If you need a little bit of extra encouragement and you find yourself having a hard time letting go of that fear that's holding you back, shoot me a DM. Let me know. You can DM us on Aggressive but Effective, or you can find my personal Instagram and shoot me a DM there. I'm here for you guys. I want to push you to meet those big goals, to find what your why is, to chase the things that set your soul on fire, to tune into that feeling of bigger things out there. There's so much joy on the other side of that initial leap of faith. So yeah, that's everything I have for you guys today. I hope that you all have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday. I love you all so much. And hopefully the weather is good enough that Jill and I can see you back together on Sunday. I like talking to her with you guys a little bit better than just by myself, I'm not gonna lie. But I love you so much. Thank you for listening. We'll see you soon. Bye.